Now I know that God is going to win the war in the end. And for me, myself, I've lost a few battles here and there, and more than a few battles for sure. But overall, I've won a majority of my spiritual battles. Otherwise, I would not be here talking to you guys today. And even though I've won most of my battles, it seems as though I'm losing the war of my own life sometimes. Not always, but sometimes it feels that way. And I don't really know why. I'm using this as kind of an exploration tool, in a sense, to see if we can navigate this together, because I'm sure people have felt this way as well. I'm sure that this can be relatable to other people. However, it seems to me that I've thought about this quite a bit the last few days. I genuinely don't know how I am still this irrelevant on the mass scale. I really don't. Because I know that what I'm giving my all. I'm giving my heart, I'm giving my soul to everybody here on this channel. I'm giving everything I've got. And what's strange is I know that I'm not as relevant as I could be on social media and such, because in my day-to-day life, I blow people's minds on the daily without even meaning to. I know how to be magnetic if I want to be. I can turn it on and off if I want to be. I have full social understanding and a full social spectrum in which I'm very socially intelligent. I know how to communicate. I know how to be proper and sophisticated, but I also know how to be playful. I know how to make an impact and be the circumstance for others in my life. I know what the value that people have talked to me about in my one-on-one sessions, in the Godlike Master Initiation Program, in the Regal Change Academy community that we have. I've seen the change. And I've seen the way that people just, it feels as though, I mentioned this to someone earlier, it feels as though sometimes I'm offering this platter, this beautiful pot roast with mashed potatoes and veggies and even fruit for dessert. And they're basically just thinking, it's not marijuana. Oh, it's not this, it's not that. Well, it's not. That's what it feels like. I'm not saying that that's what they're saying. I'm just saying that this is what it feels like. I'm offering this platter of spiritual nutrition. And it's like people don't have much reverence for it. Now, there are people that do, absolutely, and I'm very grateful for these people, and I'm very glad to have their support. And of course, I would rather be around a few lions than a bunch of hyenas that will just eat each other anyway if things get really tough. But wow, sometimes I'm just stunned by my own obscurity on the mass scale sometimes. And it's not because I feel as though I'm entitled to this kind of thing. And I definitely am not seeking glory per se. I know that I'm going to give the glory to God, but at the same time, it's so frustrating to feel like I'm doing everything I can to serve God. And I know that I know God, and I know that I'm doing what I can to ensure that He knows me. Everything that I can, absolutely, because that's the most terrifying thing. The goats and the sheep metaphor as well in the Bible, where the goats and the sheep are separated, and the goats on the left and the sheep on the right. I believe that's how it was in the parable. And the sheep are the righteous, basically, and the goats are the unrighteous. And the goats, they didn't give drink to the stranger who is thirsty, or go visit the person in prison, or put clothes on the naked. They didn't do these things. They didn't welcome the stranger. But the righteous did. And I do my best to ensure that I'm on the righteous path. And it's just super astounding to me to see, because I have the discernment to see through the religious BS people online. I have the utmost respect for what they're aiming to do because I don't doubt their intentions. But I can look at them and I can feel righteous indignation. And it's not me. It feels like it's the Holy Spirit through me. It doesn't feel like me. And that's what's very uneasy about this whole thing, especially with social media and the whole shebang, because I've even seen people online who they maybe have like 200 or 300 followers or whatever. And holy crap, I mean, the stuff that they're putting out is insanely good. It's insanely good. I have no issue. Like, some people watch people only because they have a mass following, and I think that's kind of weird. But the people that are the hardest to forget are the most rare. And if you are rare, you're going to be hard to forget. And it's those people that I know that maybe only have 200 or 300 subscribers or followers or whatever. And then you see these people with like 300,000 followers or subscribers, and you're thinking to yourself, what the did they do to get this many people to feel like they can relate or follow these people? What did they do? Sometimes I really wonder if the 144,000 chosen ones from the Bible is actually literal. I've thought it's very symbolic for a long time. And of course, everybody wants to be one of the 144,000, of course. Like, why wouldn't you want to be? Like, it'd be terrifying. It's terrifying not to be a part of that. Are you kidding? That's terrifying, because your eternity is on the line. Can you imagine? Can you seriously imagine you getting to the other side and you're getting judged by Jesus, and he goes through and he tells you all these things that were meant for you, and you're thinking to yourself, this is like, oh, I just thought about this. Yeah, this is David Goggins' classic example, right? Where he's like, my biggest fear is getting on the other side, and God listing out all of these things that you were supposed to do. And then you think to yourself and you say to God, that's not me. And then God says, that's right, that's what you were supposed to do. That's who you were supposed to become. That's intense. And that's a reasonable fear, man. And I fear God, not because I fear he's a tyrant. He's a loving authoritarian, I know that. But wow, oh wow. I just cannot explain this feeling of rarity. And that sounds so, putting myself on the pedestal. I'm absolutely not. I genuinely don't know what it would take at this point, because I'm just me. Okay, I'm just me, and that's always been enough for the people around me. And I know that because I don't have to have, all these fancy things or the materials or whatever to make people feel something. I know how to make people feel things. And even the people that say, like I had somebody post, and he messaged me. He messaged me this. He took the time out of his day. This Anon account, anonymous for those who don't know what Anon is. This Anon account took the time out of their day to message me and say that I have the least magnetic presence of all time. And they were talking about a video from my semen retention video from like 2.5 years ago or whatever. At least I'm assuming, I'm assuming that's what it is, because that's that was the video I'm assuming they were referring to about semen retention, how I have the least magnetic presence or whatever. It's like, then why did you take time out of your day to message me about how irrelevant I am? Like, really? And I shouldn't be as irrelevant as I am. I know that I'm capable of more. I know who I am on the inside. You see, I'm not delusional. I know that I've put in the work. Okay, I've written a book. Okay, I've written a book. I have the competence. I have the skills. I know how to talk to people. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours worth of talking to people professionally in one-on-one mentorship calls. Hundreds, if not thousands of hours at this point. Because let's see, you know what? Might as well do the math right now, huh? So I've done one-on-one mentorship calls with at least 350 people one-on-one. And that's not even counting all the group calls and everything that we've had in the Regal Change Academy. And we have about 2 to 3 group calls per week in the Regal Change Academy. So that's another 2 to 3 hours, and that's been up since April last year, May last year. So that's what, at least 200 hours worth of group calls right there for the Regal Change Academy. And then I've had multiple sessions with multiple people, with the 350 people that I've communicated with around the world. So I'm at least at 1,000 hours, minimum of 1,000 hours worth of communication. And of course they say it takes 10,000 hours to master any skill set and all that. But I've literally spent my life, and this is just with the Regal Change stuff. I've spent my entire life doing what I do. I just didn't know it when I was doing it. I've literally spent years and years developing myself. And these people who, this is what's so screwed up about our society. And you know what I think it is? I'm genuinely starting to believe that fiat currency is, for a lot of it, it's like this, it didn't start out as the root cause, but it's slowly becoming a deeper rooted issue. Like it's like a root behind a root at this point. It didn't start out that way, but it's become that. The fiat currency system is literally a dragon, and it's a consuming dragon that is like Maleficent or Malevolent or whatever her name is from Sleeping Beauty. It is chaos herself in dragon form that demands you to cost. You don't have value in this world, in this society with fiat currency. You don't have value. You have cost and you have price. You don't have value. You don't get to have abundance. You don't get to have value in this system. Do you know how sick this is? Like, do you guys realize how sick the fiat currency is? Do you realize that if you owe the bank money, that is what gives power to the bank? That is what makes the bank worth something? So if you don't owe the banks or anybody else money in the fiat currency system, nothing's valuable. Ownership doesn't matter in the fiat currency system. Remember what they said about the 2020, well, it was the 2030 agenda, allegedly. I'll put that in parentheses before YouTube even gets me more shadow banned. Do you guys remember what that is? Do you know what that is? Okay, if you don't know what it is, I highly recommend you look it up. If you do remember what it is, remember, they'll say you will own nothing and you will be happy. And guess what's happening? We're getting 50-year mortgages. We're getting 15-year car payments for cars that only live like 5 years anyway. So all of our debt, I mean, one might as well have like 100-year mortgages or 50-year car payments, right? Because that way we can pass our debt down to our kids. This, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. And this is, people have been asking me, why do I believe in Bitcoin? Because it's more spiritually sound and mathematically true. It's simply math. There's nothing more to it. Bitcoin is just math. Gold and silver, okay? When people say that Bitcoin, like the Bitcoin maximalists, I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist. I think Bitcoin's cool and I like it. And I think it could be an alternative currency to fiat. I don't think it's the thing, okay? But I think that it is something to look into for sure because of the benefits of it. But anyway, gold and silver, it's always going to be what it is. The first time that I held silver in my hand, the first time that I held silver, and I thought to myself, huh, I actually own this. I actually own this. It's not just, monopoly money. Like it's not just whatever. I actually have it. That's not the way that the social media works. It's not the way that the fiat currency system works. It's not the way that our education system works. And people think, oh, the system's broken. It's like, no. The system is working exactly how it's meant to work. You're meant to give your life for 40 plus years to a 9-to-5 job, 8 hours a day for 5 days a week, not including commute time and whatever and all that stuff. I mean, if you do the math on that, what's 8 times 5 is 40. So on average, so 40 times 52 weeks in the year. Somebody can do the math real quick with that. Whatever 50 times or 52 times 40 is times 40. That's how many hours you're going to be putting into slavery for your life. And people think that entrepreneurship is the answer. No, it's not the answer. Now, look, I'm all for entrepreneurship. I love being an entrepreneur. But entrepreneurship, you're still working for that dragon. You're still working for the maleficent dragon. You're still working for the shadow of finance itself in feminine chaos form, which is the fiat currency. That's what's crazy. And so here we have, and here's where we get to how when you start to realize just how fucked up the whole thing is, it's all lies. Question it out. Question it all. Question everything. I wish I could just, if I had to say one message to the whole world, number one would be, the first part would be, it's all a lie, but I still love you. And the reason for that is because, no, you know what I would say actually? It's all a lie, and I love you. That's what I would say. Because it's not a matter of this or that. It's a matter of this and that. It is all a lie, and I love you. Question it all. Just question it all. Just question it all. Question it all. Question it all. It's all a fugazi. It's all... It's nothing. It's literally nothing. It's an endless abyss. That's the only way that you get value in that system. The only way that we get value in social media, in the fiat currency, in the institutions that we have, in government, is if you're fake. All of the realist people that I know, they don't get the flowers they deserve. And that's why I highly encourage you, if you have somebody that you know is real, that is a content creator on social media, because this is going to be one of the ways in which we can fight the spiritual battles. Support them by commenting, liking, doing just being a part of their life as much as they're aiming to be a part of yours. Don't take these people for granted. Don't take yourself for granted. Don't let your mind and your ego get in the way of your optimization and efficiency and just gratefulness for life and for people that actually want to be there for you. It's silly. And you're worth more than that. You're better than that. And I know I'm better than this. I know I am. I absolutely have no doubt in my mind. I know. I don't need to even believe anything at this point about anything, because I know I can just make it happen if it's in accordance to God's law, statutes, and commandments. And if it's in accordance to God's will, that this is what he wants to have happen for my life, then so be it. Because I will continue to serve Christ to the best of my ability. And I will do everything that I can to ensure that I'm pleasing him and not anybody in the world. So with all that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful for you. Peace. Until next time.